Hey everybody, this is HD. Welcome back. It is time for game number 4 between Liquid TLO and WhiteRa, also known as WhiteRa, in this best of 5 series. It is currently 2-1 in favor of WhiteRa, and it looks like it is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss this time. Remember, TLO has decided to play random, or I don't know if he's actually choosing race or if he's playing random, but regardless, this is going to be a PvP mirror. And if you guys remember the first game in this series, TLO actually was able to beat WhiteRa at his own game. When WhiteRa is a Protoss player, TLO is not. Wasn't expecting him to be able to win, but he was able to take that victory. And he's actually lost the other games when he's been playing his main race and his second best race, in my opinion, Zerg. So we'll see what happens this time. It looks like both players have spawned on Metalopolis on the close positions. And so I'm expecting this game to end relatively shortly. It shouldn't be a long one, especially since it's a mirror and they've spawned close to each other. And so we'll see what exactly happens. Now, I have checked what these games actually were for, and it is for the Team Liquid Open Invitation, or Open, not Invitational, the Open Tournament, and this was actually the Grand Finals. It was a best of 5. So I did do a little bit of research just to find out exactly what tournament these games were casted for, and I thought you guys would like to know that, just so you guys know what is at stake here, what these players are playing for. It looks like WhiteRa is going to be moving his probe in here. It's a little bit of a gangster, got 5 probes, 5 minerals on that probe, and it's going to start to zap that Nexus a little bit. And on this game, I would honestly expect to see, oh, look at that, he's going to pull his probes and try to kill off WhiteRa's scouting worker. But WhiteRa, of course, not going to allow that to happen. Now, I would expect TLO to try to end this game early on. In the first game that they played, Protoss versus Protoss, I remember that TLO actually won the game by having more economy, and WhiteRa decided to try to end it early by using Blink Stalkers. So we'll see if that's the case this time around. I do believe Blink Stalkers are a very powerful strategy in Protoss versus Protoss. And obviously there's a couple of other options, just like the standard 4-gate, 3-gate Robo. All of those are powerful options. Remember though that if WhiteRa wins this game, then he will win the entire tournament. It is a best of 5, and currently WhiteRa is up 2. It looks like TLO just killed off that scouting probe right there, which was being quite annoying for quite some time, and he just got rid of it. And we'll see exactly what WhiteRa is up to. It looks like both players right now are just working off of one gas. TLO does have that slight economic advantage once again, and I think that's because WhiteRa got the earlier cybernetic score. You guys can see that cybernetic score just warping in right now, whereas TLO's cybernetic score is a little bit later. So the little one here may be going for the same kind of strategy, going for more economy, whereas WhiteRa is going for more technology, and that's what actually cost WhiteRa the game in game number 1. He went for earlier tech. He didn't try to out macro his opponent. He tried to out tech him and use early Blink Stalkers to end the game, but that didn't work out as well as he had hoped for. So here we go. It looks like WhiteRa is going to be pushing forward. He's got a proxy pylon going up, and he's got 2 zealots coming to the front door of TLO. TLO here is going to have to fall back. And remember, oh wow, TLO is going to have to pull all of his probes off the line. 1 stalker coming off of the gateway, and I do think that TLO should be able to hold this off. Nice micro right here, pulling that injured zealot away. Now, here's the real threat. Remember that WhiteRa went for earlier tech, so WhiteRa is going to have his warp gate done a little bit sooner. It is about 30 seconds away from completion, whereas TLO's warp gate is about 50 seconds from completion. So WhiteRa, as long as he can keep this stalker alive, he can warp in units on the high ground as soon as his warp gate is done, and this could be really, really bad for TLO. TLO needs to get rid of this stalker, and it looks like he will do it just like that. So well played right there. And it looks like WhiteRa's early attack here may actually be pretty costly, because yeah, his warp gate is done, but it doesn't look like he's gonna warp anything. There we go. Oh, cancelled by TLO's stalkers. But remember that when a pylon like that gets cancelled from warping in units, the player actually recuperates his minerals. So that's not 300 minerals lost. But it looks like WhiteRa may actually be pretty far behind now, because his early strategy of attack, it was kind of a 4-gate attack. As you guys can see here, he's got 4 warp gates. Didn't work out too well, and now TLO's the one who's got a pretty sizable advantage going into this game. He's got 2 more probes, so that's going to help a little bit more in the economy department. And I do believe that TLO may have a larger army right now. As you guys can see, 40 army units, 40 supply worth of army compared to WhiteRa's 30. So this is very, very bad for WhiteRa, especially, like I said, it's a Protoss versus Protoss. You'd honestly expect WhiteRa to be able to win PvP games because he's honestly the better Protoss player, in my opinion. But WhiteRa may have just cost himself once again by going for early attack, by going for early aggression against TLO. And TLO just says, you know what, if you're going to try to be aggressive against me, I can absorb attacks, I can play defensively, and I can continue to build up my economy, and eventually, I'm going to have the bigger army, and I'm going to have the bigger economy, so I can weather the storm. And it looks like TLO is doing just that. He's actually now getting Twilight Council, as well as, look at that, Hallucination. He's actually chrono boosting Hallucination. So I do believe TLO is going to either go for Blink here. I don't think he's going to go for DTs because DTs is more of a catch-up strategy. If you're losing the game, you try to go for Dark Templars and try to go all in and come back. But if you're ahead, then you go for Blink. And as you guys can see, TLO is getting Blink. He's also getting Forge for cannons just in case WhiteRa decides to go for Dark Templars again. And this hallucination is a little peculiar. Sometimes Protoss players, most of the times they'll actually make a hallucinated Phoenix for scouting purposes, but sometimes they'll actually make an attack with the hallucinations. They'll make a bunch of Colossus to absorb the brunt of the damage and try to end the game with a hallucinated army. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, so he's going to get a scout in. He sees the 4-gate Robo. WhiteRa has one last chance to end this game. He does not have Blink though, whereas TLO is getting Blink. So WhiteRa knows he's behind. He has to try to end the game right now. He's warping in more units, and he's going to try to push up this ramp, and all TLO has to do is hold this position. If he can hold here, then he should be able to win this game. So here we go. WhiteRa picks off one of the Stalkers. Very nice. A great force field from TLO prevents the Zealots from retreating back to the Stalkers behind. So all these Zealots are going to get taken out, and TLO, oh wow, TLO should be just fine at holding this off. WhiteRa, he's got his work cut out for him. He's warping in more units. Remember though that WhiteRa is behind in economy. It's all going to come down to the micro, but TLO of course has the Blink, whereas WhiteRa does not. So TLO making great use of his Blink right there, pulling back the injured Stalkers, pulling them to the back, and he's really minimizing his losses here, because remember, a Stalker that has low health still does the same damage as a Stalker that has full health. So as long as TLO can muster up a larger Stalker army, then WhiteRa is going to be the one in a lot of trouble. TLO now realizing he has a much larger army is going to blink down and just brute force his way through WhiteRa's diminishing army. And I do believe that this is going to be GG. Wow, TLO is going to make this a 2-2 series. I honestly don't see how WhiteRa can win now. He's lost his entire army. The only thing he has left of that entire battle is this Observer, but the Observer really doesn't make a difference at all anymore. Originally, of course, being used to spot the high ground. And now TLO is going to make his final push, and WhiteRa, the Protoss master himself, is going to lose in a mirror matchup against the little one. I guess he's just waiting for his Immortal now, his last final hope. He's going to pull probes off the line. TLO, much wiser than that, pulls his injured Stalkers to the back with that very nice Blink ability. Here comes the Immortal. It's not gonna be able to do much at all. Its shields got depleted so quickly, and TLO is gonna blink up there and take that out. So that's gonna be a very fast GG. TLO also is securing his expansion at the same time, and WhiteRa GG's out. So that was game number 4. The series is now tied at 2-2 apiece. We are going to move on to game number 5 in the Team Liquid Open tournament. This is the grand finals, and it is going to move on to a final ace matchup with TLO now tying the series 2-2. This is a Clash of Titans game. I think you guys have thoroughly enjoyed this series so far. I know I have, and we're going to move on to the grand finals. HD signing out.